after planning comes organizing. So I've decided to complete this series. So the second function after planning is organizing, which we will be covering in this video. So let's begin our topic today, which is organizing function of management. Organizing, as defined by Allen, is the process of identifying and grouping the work, defining and delegating the responsibility and authority, establishing relationship for the purpose of enabling people to work most effectively together in accomplishing objectives. So it is basically work you identify which is to be performed, you group it, we have different groups, then in every group you will define the responsibilities, you will assign the authority, delegate the authority among some people, then you will establish relationship, superior subordinate relationships, team members relationships, team leader team member relationships, so as the organization as a whole will work together effectively in accomplishing its objective. So this definition has talked about the work, the grouping of work, responsibilities, authorities, relationships. Similar definition by Hyman is says that organizing is the process of defining and grouping the activities. You have activities, you define them, group them, and activities of the entire process of the business. Establish the authority and relationship among them. You establish authority and relationships. So these two definitions basically talks about process of organizing, which is identifying and grouping the activities, defining and delegating the responsibility and authority, establishing relationship to make organization work efficiently. A definition from different perspective is given by Henry Fayol, which says to organize a business means to provide it with everything useful to its functioning: raw material, tools, capital, and personnel. So Henry Fayol says that organizing in business means basically to provide everything: man, the personnel, the human resource; money, the capital, the finance required; machine, the tools and material required for functioning of the business. So it is bringing together man, money, material, machine. It is making it available. Everything which is required for the functioning of business, making that available is what organizing is. So from these definitions we can understand what organizing is, and its process is basically, from definition itself you can devise the process of organizing, which is identification and division of work, followed by departmentalization, establishing various departments, assigning duties, responsibility you assign, and establishing reporting relationships. You establish relationships, you delegate authority. So this is what organizing is. And it is important, it facilitates administration as it facilitates coordination through various teams, groups, departments. It ensures continuity of the enterprise. If somebody has shifted the job, if there's a turnover, if there's an absenteeism, so you exactly know which position has to be filled up, right? So it ensures continuity of enterprise because you are providing everything required for the business: man, money, material, machine. So you are ensuring the continuity of the enterprises, the continuity of functionings. And it also encourages good human relations because we have various groups, various departments, and you have established the relationships. You know where to go, you know to whom, from whom you will receive the instructions, so you have a proper formal communication channel to follow. This ensures good human relations, and it also stimulates innovation and technology. It ensures optimum utilization of resources, optimum utilization of technology. It encourages growth and diversification of the business. So that's why organizing is important. Now, understanding the organizing pattern. Organizational pattern is basically the system of an organization. What is its system of communication? What is its system of taking decisions? How communication is there? How instructions are being flown? Which medium they use for communication. So this is all organization pattern is about. It is basically the structures of the relationships. An organization structure can be a structure basically explains the position of every person in the organization. It's his or her official relationships with other people, other individuals of the organization. So that is what a structure all about. It it talks about the relationships, it talks about the position of a person in the organization. And an organization structure, the ideal one, the good organization structure, should have these features. First, clear line of authority. The line of authority which is there in the organization structure should be clear, right? There should not be any confusions or conflicts. So this can be reduced if there's a clarity in job roles. Every person exactly know what his or her position is in the organization, from whom he will receive the instructions, on whom he will have the supervision on. So these are the things that clear line of authority ensures. It ensures clarity in the operations. It ensures no confusion, no conflicts. Second is that there should be adequate authority delegation. If there's a person who is executives, if there's a person who is a manager, so as per his or her job role, you should also give him or her the adequate authority, the power to take decisions, right? So that is a good organization structure has. It has a feature that there's adequate authority for every position, and there should be less managerial levels. More the levels, more delay in communication, more noise. So you can reduce this drawback of a hierarchical drawbacks by having less managerial levels and the span of control. There should be appropriate number of people a manager should be given to supervise directly on. There should be controllable numbers for a manager to supervise. And it should be simple. There should be no confusions in the organization structure. It should be easy to enhance as well. So an organization structure, when represented visually or graphically, is called an organization chart. This can go horizontal, which is authority flowing from left to right. The left positions are top level, then comes middle level, and towards the right you will find the lower level positions. So this is a horizontal organization chart where you can have different departments, department 1, department 2, department 3, and authorities flowing from left to right, authorities distributed horizontally. So that is a horizontal representation of organization structure, a horizontal organization chart. Then comes the vertical one, which is that authority is flowing from top to bottom, like this one. A nursing administration chart, we have board of directors, hospital administration, director of nursing, and supervisor of nursing 1, supervisor of nursing 2. So two departments, and in every department you will find the superiors, subordinates. The hierarchy is flowing from top to down. So that's a vertical. We can have in fact the circular one as well, where the innermost circle will represent the top level hierarchy. The hierarchy, the authority is flowing from inner circles to the outer circles. And in every pie represents a different division, a different department. So we can represent departments through different pies, these lines separating one department from another, and authorities flowing from inner circles to the outer circle. The outermost circle represent the most lower level positions. We can have this example of a travel agency organization chart where you have top level management consisting of board of directors, MD, CEO, shareholders. Then you have middle level managers, the various heads of the departments, head of planning division, head of transportation, marketing head, HR head, accounts head, and then the lower level managers, the executives, the assistants. So this is a vertical organization chart of a travel agency. In an organization, you will find two types of job roles, line roles and staff roles. Line roles are the roles which are contributing in the revenue, the primary function of the organization, the primary objective of the organization. And staff roles consist of roles which are supporting, which work as maintenance of the organization. There can be a human resource manager, a complete HR department representing the staff role, various assistants, legal advisors. So these can be staff roles, and line roles are the people who are contributing in the revenue, the sales, the production, the primary functions, the primary objectives of the organization. So there's this arguments that goes on between line and staff hierarchy. Line, those who are in the primary functions, primary objectives of the organization, such as sales, production, marketing, technical. So they people say what they say about staff is that staff officers have only theoretical knowledge. They are not actually working at the ground. So they give advices which are impractical because they are not responsible for the results. So they only take into account their departmental goal, not the organization's goal as a whole, and they blame line officers when failure happened, whereas keen on getting the credits for the success. Similarly, staff functions officers talk about line that they neglect their advice, they hesitate to accept new ideas, they reject the advice, they neglect the advice, they're not ready to ask for any advice from staff officers. So this is arguments, these are some kind of arguments that goes on between line and staff. So line functions, which are actual mainstream functions of the organization, the people who have the technical knowledge to perform the primary functions, to perform the primary, to achieve the primary objectives of the organization. And staff roles are the roles which are required for the functioning of the business, for the functioning of the line roles. These can be any human resource manager, any legal advisor, any financial advisor. So these can be the staff roles. And line roles comes the production department, the sales department, the marketing department. Then comes centralization and decentralization. Centralization is basically the organization pattern, organization systematic, consistent reservation of authority at central points in the organization. All authority, all decision making in the hands of the central authority. Central authority is the top level management. Decision making power is at the top level management. Operating authority is at the middle level management. And operations, who will do the operations? The lower level with the directions of the top level. So command is coming from top level management. So they are making the decisions. Middle level managers, they have the authority to operate, and lower level managers operate. They receives the instructions, and as per the instructions only they perform. So this is a centralized form of the organization. Then comes the decentralization one, where everyone has a certain kind of freedom. There's a systematic delegation of authority at all levels of management, top, middle, lower. So everyone is given some kind of authority. So everything that is increasing the role of subordinates is decentralization, and that decreases is centralization. The involvement of lower level is there, then it's decentralization. There are various advantages and disadvantages of both. If we talk about centralized one, this one is easier to implement because you have to easier to implement common policies and practices for the whole business, because lower level management is receiving the instructions of top level management. They take the decision, they make the policies, they frame the policies and practices, and or everything is followed by the lower level management. This prevents other parts of the business from becoming too independent. They have the control over them, and it is easier to coordinate and control various functions such as budget, finance. These are sensitive matters, and authority to take decision in these matters cannot be given to the lower level employees. Only the CEOs, the managing director, the shareholders are generally involved in taking such decisions. Financial management is a subject which can never be decentralized. There's always going to be centralization in this area. So it is easier to coordinate and control such areas if there's a centralized organization structure. Also, decision making becomes quicker, easier to show strong leadership. You have leaders who will take decisions and these decisions are followed. But disadvantages are that it becomes so bureaucratic. Everything has an extra layer. You are, for every decision you are seeking permissions from the top level management, the superiors. So there's this red tapeism which you will find in a centralized organization structure. And local or junior managers, they are more closer to customer needs, and if you are not involving them in the decision making, then you are missing this opportunity to satisfy the needs of the customer. Also, lack of authority down the hierarchy reduces the manager's motivation. Those performing at the lower ends, the ground level, if they are not given any authority, any freedom, then their motivation will go down. Also, customer services does misses flexibility and speed of local decision making. Sometimes while their sales operations or any operation directly with the customers, if there's they sometimes it will take time and there's no flexibility and decision making, because for every issue, maybe discount, maybe any changes in SOP, you will have to seek permissions from the superiors. So this will make it very, process becomes lengthy, and there's no flexibility and speed in the operations. Talking about decentralization, so this one is better, as it is the decisions are being taken by the lower level management as well. So better customer service, better customer needs are being satisfied, better able to respond the local circumstances because they have the ground level knowledge, and this improves the staff motivation, the morale, because they are given the authority. And this will also result in a flatter hierarchy. The hierarchy levels will go down. There will be more flatter structure. And it's a good way of training and developing junior management. But disadvantages are that because decision making is now distributed in every department, at every level, there's this delegation of authority and decision making. So this can result in decisions which are not strategic, decisions which are not taken strategically. So this can result in this, and it also makes harder to ensure consistent practices and policies at each location, various levels, various locations. Every leader, every manager is taking his or her own decision, and organization as a whole will not come forward as a consistent practices and policies. There will be no SOP. And there will be diseconomies of scale as well. There will be no financial control. It will be harder to achieve tight financial control. There can be risk of cost overruns, and strong leadership will not be there as well. And in the times of crisis, we need strong leaderships. So these are some disadvantages and advantages of centralization and decentralization. So this was the whole chapter on organizing, function of management, which is second function of management, comes after planning. I hope you like it. Thank you. Have a great day.